Hi, thanks for tuning to another episode of Spiritual Scientist with Victor. Hey, thanks for checking me out. So, a couple things were on my mind I wanted to talk about. One is about faith. Um, Case in point, there was something happened yesterday. So I have a friend that I changed around a little bit in the story, just the person. But the story is absolutely true. That the friend had, watches the news a lot, and CNN, all this, and they're really like worried about COVID all the time, wearing masks all the time, and everything. I said, you know what? Yeah, don't worry. You're not gonna die. You're a friend of mine. I'm a healer, spiritual guy. Relax. Why don't you do some praying? Why don't you do some meditating? So this person over the past week and a half saw that I got COVID. I was like, dude, you got COVID. I must have COVID. Because you're like this healer guy, and you got it, I got it. So I said, well, what are your symptoms? This was like the other day. And they said, well, what'd you have? So I said, well, me. Well, I had a headache, aches and pains, and a little runny nose. Yeah, that's what I have. I said, well, you don't have a runny nose. No, I have aches and pains and tingling in my body. I don't feel good. I'm going to call an ambulance. I said, ambulance? And they said, yeah, unless you want to drive me. And I said, sure, I'll drive you. And but I just think you should chill out. So I said, what's bothering you a lot? And they said, well, I've been taking a lot of vitamins. And I said, you probably took too much vitamin C, and it's bothering your stomach. So you have to stop taking so much because it's acidic. No, you don't know. So I said, you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. I said, no. So I took this person, a friend of mine, to the hospital, a small hospital they have for one of those, not really a hospital, but like a hospital where it's like everybody gets seen pretty quickly. Anyway, wait in the car half an hour, 40 minutes, finally comes out. He says, they said from my symptoms that I need to go to hospital, and it's pretty serious. Either you could take me or I'll go in an ambulance. I said, whoa, maybe I'm wrong, I guess don't be silly, I'll take you. So took my friend to the hospital. He said, it's gonna be hours. Just come back. So I dropped him off, and this was yesterday. And then, text, and I said, take my cord, your phone's gonna die. And his phone died, so he called me on their hospital phone. I'm okay. They have an IV in me. They're doing MRIs, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're EKGs, they're doing all their tests, the blood work and everything. So anyway, said, okay, you could pick me up. I said, oh, pick you up? Yeah. It was like 3 hours goes by. Go by, pick him up. Said, gets in the car. I said, well, what'd they say? I said, well, I just don't want to talk to you about it. I said, why? I said, well, you're going to say, I told you so. I said, well, I'm not going to say that. He says, well, I don't have anything. I said, well, I told you so. But see, no, I'm just saying, relax. You need to meditate and you need to pray more. The reason is you have no faith. You're watching CNN, they're convincing you, his news, they're convincing you you're sick all the time. And then he said, yeah, well, they did blood work. They said maybe it was maybe I took too much vitamin C and it hurt my stomach. I said, gee, wonder where I heard that before. I said, I know, you told me. I said, would I let you get sick? You're a friend of mine. Would I let you have this? Don't worry. You worry too much. So the moral of this story is that, everybody's watching TV, everybody's, watching CNN, everybody's listening to stuff. And it's an absolutely true story, by the way. everybody's worried so much. And this person, I left this out of the story, I think, got tested for COVID in the past couple of weeks 7 times. I said, eventually you're going to get a false positive. I said, what? There's no such things. There's only false negatives. I said, what are you talking about? You could have a false positive. No, you can't. I said, the president of this country a different country sent in a papaya, and the papaya tested positive for COVID. So you could test positive for COVID, and it'd be false positive. So eventually you send in 100 tests, eventually you're going to show positive. They're just going to randomly have a mistake, but you don't have it. No, you're wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. So, the moral of this story is to try to have faith. And, faith leads you to health, leads you to wellness. It leads you, on that path. And as soon as this person found out that the doctor and the hospitals and all their tests said he's fine, then he went back to his house. I checked up on Larry. The guy's fine. He's running around doing errands, doing things. I said, "You're fine, man." He's like, "Yeah, I thought I was sick, but I'm fine." So, he's fine. But he thought he was sick. And it's that thinking that you're sick, losing faith in yourself and your health leads you to illness too. It could hurt you. So, I'm watch TV, and you don't see anything about people. They're saying, "Oh, how to be healthy." On Instagram, I go on Instagram and I follow people who are into health. I follow yoga teachers and meditation teachers who are doing that. I could follow them. They're all in health and healthy living. Sounds like a good idea. Let's watch that instead of illness, death. So it's what you focus in on. It's what you're helping to manifest in your reality because you're focusing in on it. And people are just so focused in on this negativity. I did make a meme once about the leader of Rohan. He had a wormwood that would come in his ear. His name was, I believe it was Wormwood. Ooh, another biblical name. Hopefully. Ooh, avert. We don't want wormwood to happen. But anyway, he would whisper in the king's ear. He'd say, there's, he'd say stuff, and then, the king would shrink down and shrivel. It's like he was whispering in the king's ear, only talk about illness, only talk about vaccines and illness. So that's what we're seeing in the news, is they're only talking about illness and vaccines and death. That's all they talk about. Nobody's talking about health. Nobody's talking about faith. They're leaving that out. You're supposed to be able to plug that into your life. So I want everybody to have faith in health. So that's what this is about. The other thing I thought I'd talk about is that it seems like when you, dying, there was this Dolores Cannon, rather. Her name is Dolores Cannon, and you could look her up. A lot of people know who she was. And she would say that there's these two earths and all that. So, and that there was a separation between 3D and 5D, and people in 5D, would be like, let's say the people on the earth would be the same. But eventually when people died, instead of being reincarnated on a 5D earth, they would be reincarnated and they would be alive again on the 3D earth. And the 5D would be a separation. And the 5D people would have their own jams going on. They'd have their own things. And, I just see it so much. Like, I go out and there's people that are in negativity. They're in their negativity. And I could literally say, if I was saying to somebody, I'm making this up, but I would say, if I would say, I love you, and then someone could say back, well, you haven't said that in a long time, or you haven't, why now? Instead of saying, I love you too. You know what I mean? So it's that taking what you're hearing, but you put a negative, you're hearing it from a negative point of view. That's what we have a lot going on. So we have a lot of people that see one thing, but they're experiencing it, differently. And I'm just talking about like how you're perceiving in the world from a abundant state, or you're perceiving it from a negative state. So we really want to look at that as the world as a positive thing, in a positive state, and look at the blessings all around us all the time. Hey, I'm alive. It's a blessing. You're alive right now. It's a blessing. We're blessed together right now, and you have an abundance. You have a life. We're able to breathe. We're able to do so many things. So we have to think in a positive manner about everything. And then, that leads us down a positive road. But a lot of people, are getting hypnotized with the media, with this television. And as everybody knows, when they take these, they take a candle, and if you want to hypnotize somebody, or you take a pocket watch, and they go in front of somebody in their eyes, and then they get hypnotized. Or you take a flickering candle, and they said that's mesmerizing. Well, in the television, it mesmerizes you. That's what it does. It has a flickering rate behind it. In the television, it's so people who watch television, your will disappears, and then it programs you. It's television. So there's just so many people out there getting programmed for illness from the television. You're just programmed. It's not just sad. It's evil. It's evil. What other word is there for it? It's evil. So I want people to unplug and plug into prayer and meditation. And that is so important. If you want to know how to meditate, I have one on my website, VictorHamsa, HAMSA.com, or you can message me. Do a free Zoom with you, and we'll do meditation together, which is fun. So I think that I said everything I wanted to say. I talked about my friend who had no faith, and I talked about negative people and how they have no faith. So there's so many people with zero faith. I mean it's like zero. They have no faith that they're gonna make it to tomorrow, and it's just so sad. And I did hear some really good news from a couple of people today, but about some things that went well, and so I'm in a good mood. So, but anyway, like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this. Staying positive's, so important. Unplug from that TV. Know you're healthy. With COVID, 64% of people survive. I had it. I'm fine. I'm getting better every day. I'm pretty much almost at 100% now. And so many people, understand, they get it, and, they're not well. But a lot of this has to do with the negativity that's out there. And you can make yourself sick if you believe it in enough. Why don't we make ourselves healthy instead? Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Peace out. Bye-bye.